Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Let me tell you, it's important, and it's your business to take care of your family and yourself by making sure you've got good long-term care protection. Brian Gordon, he's a regular on the program. His company, MAGA LTC, and that's MAGA, MAGALTC.com, his company specializes working with people, working with financial experts and others, and providing quality long-term care coverage. Brian, good to talk to you, sir.
Thanks, Kevin.
Let me ask you, are there certain times, some businesses have some kind of cyclical link to other things happening, there are certain times of the year or whatever where people think more about certain things. Is that happen at all in yours, or kind of tell me how that works when it comes to long-term care insurance?
Sure. Well, we find that a lot of our clients will file claims. We find around the holiday time, we see a lot of the kids and grandchildren and nieces and nephews visiting family, and so we'll get a lot of phone calls from family members after they visit around Thanksgiving, or around Christmas, around New Year's, saying that they noticed that there's a change in mom or dad or their aunt or uncle's health, and they were wondering how the long-term care policy they bought from us works.
Mm-hmm. It's about time to use it, they were thinking.
So I refer to that as my claim season. Is really around the holiday times every year. It seems to be a big uptick in that.
But you don't see a particular time where people end up buying it, and so that's interesting. I guess people, and again, the sooner you get it, the better, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it really is a year-round problem that people need to think about. And when they work with their financial advisors and talk to their centers of influence, we find a lot of folks come to us right around tax season, or even after tax season, after they're going through their own situation and kind of getting their taxes behind them. They look at this as their next kind of concern that they want to kind of tackle at that time.
When is the best time to buy long-term care coverage?
Right, I have two answers for it. One answer is the day before we need it, which isn't realistic and doesn't happen. The realistic time to do it, however, is really, I don't look at an age so much as where a person is in their life at that given time. If they've got limited debt, they've got their kids' education taken care of, they've got their retirement plans in order, and they're participating in that and putting money away every year for their retirement. As long as their financial house is in order, I think that any age, above age 40 is a good time to take a look at these long-term care plans.
Mm-hmm. And also 40 plus typically is when people start getting serious about these.
Yes.
Okay. And talk about the various ways people pay for these plans.
Well, depending on the type of policy they're buying, with a traditional long-term care policy, they're just paying a premium each and every year until they ultimately either have to use it or they pass away. So that's a lifetime pay type of a policy. With the plans that we're working with today, with the asset-based, which we refer to as hybrid life and long-term care plans, or even annuity and long-term care plans, with the life and long-term care, people can pay it really in a lot of different ways. There's a single premium. They can do a 10-pay. They can do a 20-pay. And we even have a carrier that allows them to do an annual pay just like a traditional policy. But the really nice part about those programs is that those premiums can never change on the asset-based products. Whereas the traditional plans, we always tell our clients to budget for about a 3 to 5% rate increase each year, because ultimately those policy premiums can go up for them.
Talk about the factors.
The reason that you got to budget for increases on those traditional type of policies is, especially on the older generations, I do feel that the newer generations that are out today, the companies are doing a much better job of underwriting. They've done a much better job of pricing those type of policies, and they've also gotten rid of the unlimited benefits. So it's really the folks who've had the little bit older generations where the companies, they did not price the inflation properly. They didn't design the lapse ratio properly either. They anticipated, roughly about 4 to 5% of us were just going to flat out drop our policies every year. And the reality is they're seeing less than 1% of the population dropping their coverage. Mm-hmm. And so the new plans, they're designing it for virtually a zero lapse ratio, and they've also designed it where they're charging more for that inflation factor as well.
Interesting. So, and there's actually ways of being able to pay for coverage like in one time, or at least there was. Is that still possible?
Mm-hmm. It's not possible with traditional long-term care policies, but it is possible for the folks that are looking at the life and long-term care plans.
Mm-hmm. So, in other words, they do multiple things.
They have the availability to do that.
Yeah, those are plans that do multiple things.
Correct. And really, when you look at those policies, the life insurance is not really the attractive part of the plan. When folks are really looking at those types of policies, they're looking at what type of long-term care coverage they're going to get, and the life insurance is kind of a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm. And those really big, I think they largely call those quality of life plans or something like that.
Well, they have some types of plans that they call longevity type of insurance as well, but these types of policies are really more along the lines of an LTC plan. If somebody's more interested or concerned about the life insurance component, we would try to find a contract that gave them strong life insurance, but it gives them just okay coverage for long-term care. Typically, it won't give them any inflated benefits in the future.
Brian, as always, very good information. Any thoughts for us as we wrap up the segment?
No, just if you appreciate your family and you want to do the right things, you have a long-term care plan in place so that when we live a long life, they know how to handle things and how to get it paid for you.
And you certainly don't want to see the options of what happens when you don't have long-term care, especially if you had sizable assets. You talk about really horrific decisions that families don't want to make.
Right.
Brian Gordon, make sure you learn more about him. MAGA, M-A-G-A, LTC, that stands for long-term care, MAGALTC.com. Brian, thanks as always.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
When we come back, more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. While they're like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter, and this is The Price of Business.